To me, this whole energy transition is not a question of simply substituting fossil energy with renewable energies. The technology isn't far enough developed. We haven't solved the intermittency problem. We haven't solved the problem that the energy intensity of investment keeps on going up in the fossil sector and is very, very bad, very poor actually in the renewable sector. The initial position is too weak. We have 3–4% globally in the energy supply, which are wind and solar, biofuels and geothermals, the whole set of modern renewables. So it will take a long time, this transition, and most people in the industry agree that oil and gas, and to some extent coal, will be around for a long time. Why? Simply because the population grows and fossil fuels still are necessary for lifting people out of poverty. So we actually have an energy system globally which grows faster than the population. And the reason for this is that income levels grow, and if income levels grow, then people demand electricity and they want light and they want mobility, and they deserve all this. And it's a real bad trade-off and a real big dilemma. Right now, the top billion people in the world are responsible for more than 50% of the global greenhouse gas emissions. The lower 3–4 billion of people in the world are responsible for somewhere between 13 and 15% of these emissions. These are the numbers, and it's very hard to argue with these numbers. In a very real sense, what this means is that even if someone is very well behaved and is a vegan and lives in Switzerland, he's still among the top 1% of the global polluters, simply because of the infrastructure he uses, the car he uses, the occasional flight he takes, and so on. For example, if you replace coal-fired power production with natural gas-fired power production, you reduce emissions not to zero, true, but by 50%, better than nothing. And there are more examples like this when you think about the storage problem. The fact that sometimes if the wind doesn't blow and if the sun doesn't shine, you can't use solar and wind to produce electricity, so you need backup generation. Countries which have pushed their share of renewables in their system very far, like for example Germany or the state of California in the US, they have hit these boundaries already and they need to have backup generation from neighboring countries. So Germany gets nuclear from France and coal-fired power generation from the Czech Republic and gas-fired power generation from Holland to bridge those periods when there is no sun and no wind. What this goes to show is that when you have intermittency problems, you need backup generation that can also be fossil. It's unthinkable to do this without pricing it, without having a carbon price. And that's just one example for the tremendous global cost this whole undertaking will have. And somebody has to foot the bill, and it cannot only be the poor, either globally, in the poor countries whom we then say, okay, you don't need a car or you don't need a washing machine anytime soon. And it can't be the poor in the rich countries, which now get a large share of their fiscal revenues from oil taxation and all of that alone. So this will have to be a much larger compromise within countries and across countries.